What is a VA loan?
Well, it's a VA loan is it's a government backed loan
Okay.
that's basically a benefit to the veteran. So they consider it a benefit, kind of like the GI Bill when you're
Oh,
paying for they pay for your student loans or whatever. So it's very similar to that because they want to get veterans into a home. So that's the whole goal of the VA home loan is it's a government backed, government insured loan for veterans.
okay. So VA loans are for military vets.
Military vets, active duty,
Okay.
members and surviving spouses of a military member that was killed in action. So if there is a veteran that was killed in action, the surviving spouse gets that benefit as well. So
Seth, who's eligible for a VA loan?
so you've got active duty members as long as they've been active duty for 90 days. Okay, and
Okay.
you've got the National Guard and reservists as long as they've been in for 6 years or more. And then you've got surviving spouses of military members that were killed in action. Those are the
Okay.
three. Those are your three groups of people that are allowed to get a VA home loan.
So what properties is a VA loan eligible for?
Well, that's a really good question. Most of them, so most any of them, right? But if you're dealing with condos, the condo association has to be approved by the VA. So
Okay.
that process is kind of a pain, but it's not too bad. It's all online. I can walk people through that if they find a condo they love and it's not on the VA approved list. I've gotten multiple of them approved through the VA, so it's not a big deal. So pretty much any home that you find that's for sale, a veteran can buy.
Okay. Well, that's cool. And I know from a real estate standpoint, oftentimes there's a set of things that we're looking for from a condition standpoint
Right.
in a home to make sure the condition's there.
Right. I mean that's one thing. So one thing that you have to be VA is a little more particular, right, about
Mm.
certain things. So like wood rot, peeling paint, any safety hazards, stuff like that. VA is going to pick out on an appraisal report or whatever, and they're going to make those things be repaired. Now, broken glass windows, that's another one. Like sometimes you'll see a crack in a window pane, right? Well,
Yeah.
they never fixed it. Well, VA is going to be like, yeah, you got to fix that. So,
Yeah.
so they're kind of picky about some things that sometimes you're like, why? But you just got to go with it, and it's actually to the benefit of the veteran in the end. Really, I mean, because if they're buying a home, they want it to be as in best condition as as possible. So,
Absolutely. And we want to make sure that they're not getting into a money pit, that this
right,
is a pretty big investment. We want them to become an asset.
right.
So you talked about lots of properties that are available. How big of a loan can we get for our folks?
Well, that's a great question, and honestly, it's pretty cool. The VA does not have a limit, so you can do 100% financing on a VA home loan up to any amount, as long as you don't have another VA home loan already, right?
Okay.
So but you have to qualify for that loan, right? So there's still debt to income ratio requirements, residual income requirements. I can go into residual income at another time, but that's something that VA takes into consideration quite a bit. That's money that's left over after you pay all your bills. That's what they call residual income. So VA really thinks that that's important. It's more important to them than debt to income ratios, right? So if you qualify for a $2 million home, you can do 100% financing on a $2 million loan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do we go? Where do the people go to see if they do qualify?
So you would apply with me, obviously. That would be the easiest way,
Okay.
because I can handle your certificate of eligibility to make sure that you're entitled to a VA loan, right? A lot of them are online now, so I just get your social and then your year of birth, and then I put that into the VA portal through the website, and you have to have a login for that and stuff like that. So I go in and do that
Okay.
for you. If it's not on there, then I get some documentation from you that's from the military when you were discharged, or if you're active duty, we just get like a point statement, or something from your commanding officer that states when you got in, how long you've been active duty, stuff like that. We submit it to the VA, and they send it back. They send us back a certificate of eligibility, and
Okay.
that's what we go off of to make sure that you qualify for a VA home loan. So
Perfect. And I'll put your phone number and email and website down below so it's an
perfect.
easy click for them. you said 100% down, right?
Well, 0 down, 100% financing. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I mixed that up. So 100% financing. Is it really 100% financing, 0% down?
Correct. The only
Okay.
thing you'd have to pay is closing costs, right? So, I mean, so if you're doing a VA home purchase, you have to
Uh
pay the
huh.
closing costs out of your pocket, right? But you can negotiate. You have a great realtor like Mark, then you negotiate.
Oh,
You negotiate the contract to say let's pay 5,000 and seller pay closing costs. Then you don't pay any costs at all. So you get into that house with nothing out of your pocket. I've done hundreds of VA loans where the borrowers come with nothing. So they even get their earnest money deposit back at
oh
closing.
wow.
So it's very doable. We can structure it that way. As long as Mark and I are on the same page, say Mark and I are working on this together for you, right? We just say, hey, I need $7,000 in seller paid closing costs. This guy comes to the table with nothing. He doesn't really have much in the bank right now except for the earnest money deposit, but he wants to buy this house. Perfect. We can make it happen. So, that's one of the awesome benefits of a VA home loan is it's a great opportunity to build wealth when you can come with nothing to the table, really, right? And then build that wealth through that home. So,
Yeah, and that's what's cool is that no matter where at in the U.S. that
right,
these guys are thinking or women thinking about buying and
right.
using a VA loan, we can connect them with a powerhouse team anywhere.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
but
What's cool about the veteran community also, and if you're watching this video and you're a veteran, like it's a family. They stick together, and I've been doing VA loans for 22 years. It's more than 50% of what I do. So,
yeah,
um, you get to know people in that community, and they all stick together, and they all refer their guy, right?
hmm,
So, and and when you're all across the country, I've got connections all across the country with realtors that are just fantastic. A lot of them are veteran spouses that got into the business because they saw an opportunity, right? And then a lot of them are just word of mouth people like me. I become a word of mouth person, right? So
hmm.
it's just really cool. I love it. I love the community, and I love. This is one thing the government got right: the VA loan.
Well, and I'm sitting here with Seth. He's been a lender, operates nationally in all 50 states for over 22 years. We're talking about VA home loans, and if you get a chance, just press the like and subscribe button below. But Seth, I want to know what are the advantages for somebody to use a VA loan?
Well, I mean, we discussed this a little bit already, but the no money out of pocket possibility is just a fantastic, advantage. The You can actually have multiple homes on the same VA entitlement. A lot of people don't know that, so that's an advantage as well.
Tell us about that.
So if you say you have a VA home loan and you get transferred to your next duty station, right? Well, then you don't have to necessarily sell that house to get 100% financing on the next house. Now, there's criteria for that, too in depth to go into right now, but I have a worksheet that I just fill out. So I just get your information, discuss it
Okay.
with you. There's an entitlement amount that's on your certificate of eligibility once you buy a home, and it gives me a dollar amount that's on there. I use that, calculate what you can qualify for, or your buying power, I guess, for how much you can buy at 100%, right? So now, if you go over that amount, then you have to put a little bit of money down, but it's still not bad. Like for instance, I had a guy that could go up to 350,
Mhm.
and he wanted to buy a $400,000 house. Well, he didn't have to put down the 50,000 difference. There's a percentage of amount he had to put down, like 2%. So
Okay.
it wasn't much at all, right? They just require that you put a little skin in the game once you go over the max entitlement amount. So again, that's something we would discuss over the phone more in detail. I would work it through the worksheet and let you know. But it's a great benefit. I actually have multiple customers that have 3 homes under the same entitlement.
Are
So
you giving me up to 3 homes?
yeah, I mean, they had some down payment money on the third one, obviously a little bit more because there wasn't as
Huh.
much entitlement left over. But I mean, if you have a little bit of down payment money, yeah, you can do 3 for sure. So
Wow.
yeah, and the VA loans are great because they have lower rates. That's another advantage. Right now they're about 3/4 to a percent lower than the conventional rates.
Whoa, really?
Yes, so that's another advantage of the VA home loans: lower rates, um, and a lot more flexibility for approval wise. So We talked about this a little bit earlier as well, but residual income is their big thing. They want to make sure you have a certain amount for your region. They have the little calculation for your region of how much residual income you have to have that's required, right? Well, if you have a lot of that residual income, but your debt to income ratio is still like 60%, because
Hmm.
sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have, a high debt to income ratio, right? But your residual income is, $3,000 or $4,000 over what they require. They're like, well, I don't care if he's got plenty of extra money, right? So
Yeah.
so what they say even at like 60 or 65% debt to income ratio, they'll approve you. So
Wow.
I've actually had them approved up to 70 now. They don't do that as much anymore, but I mean, I would say 60 to 65% debt to income ratio, as long as you meet the residual income requirement, you can get into a home. So you don't have to freak out about your debt to income ratio like you do on a conventional or a FHA loan. So yeah.
Well, no, that's such great insight. Thank you for sharing. And so somebody's looking at relocating to a new place or maybe just trying to buy their first home and they have served or are currently serving, where do they start? How do we start the process for them?
Just go to my website. It's actually my name, www.sethweigel.com. Just go there
Okay,
and just
clever.
apply. Yeah, nice and easy. There's an apply. There's an apply now button in there. I don't have a lot of information on there except for information about me because I like to talk.
Okay,
I like to talk to people. I think it's the best way to do it. Right. I really
right.
do. Get to know you, your family. You fill out an application. Yeah, you're going to do that at some point, but I want to know everything about you before you do that. So, but what I would say, call me first and then apply. Or if you don't feel like talking to somebody, apply and then we'll go over the application together and make sure it's all accurate before I pull any credit or anything like that. So, but just reach out and then I can help educate you as well as I can. So,
Yeah. No, this is great. And I just wanted to say thank you for coming on today and sharing us those tidbits about what a VA loan is, how it works, how to get started. So this is really good insight. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Mark.